Haloshon Hatur, Reish Simen Lamedhei, it says, Uschilo Avaresh Tzuroso, ואחר כך תרבוס שלו. Before you learn the halachas of the Reyo, so first of all I have to explain you the tzura of the Reyo. After you know how the Reyo looks like, then you can speak about the Reyo. The Gemara in Chulin says, Snei ma nikro shmo Reyo, al shem shemiiro es ha'einayim. If you eat Reyo, and the maskona of the Gemara is that you have to add some spices. It doesn't work just to eat the piece of Reyo. If you eat Reyo, it opens, it's good for the eyes, for the Re'iyuh. But the Sifrei B'dike, they bring Mipnei ma nikro shmo Reyo al shem sheroyim bo. Because Rashi said, Daf Yud Aleph, כל הטרייפויס שבבהמה אין צורך לבדוק אחריהם, שאזלינן בוסר רויב בהמויס כשרויס. אבל חוץ מנקובס הריו, סירחויס הריו, that you must see, you have to look. And that's the chidush, because Rambam says that Ikar abdike is abdikas pnim. We have two bdikas that we check the Reyo. The Reyo is inside the body. We have the ribs, or the Gemara calls it doifen, wall, the wall of the body. And right after the windpipe, the kone, so it goes into the Reyo. And the ribs are wrapping the Reyo. They are like the defense of the Reyo. That's the reason. Says Rashbatz says in Sefer Yovim Shmuel that the reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the ribs is to protect the Reyo. The Reyo is soft and the heart is soft and very sensitive. The Sefer HaKuzori, he says, Halev kevan shu hachoshuv mikol ha'evorim the heart, because it's very important, so it has the most big number of diseases than the whole body. But we know that the heart goes with the lung. They work together. It says, Rashbo brings, what is the ta'am of the tarfus of Yaseres? Okay, I have another lobe, od uno, what do you care? The number, we need a gimatria. The Zohar HaKodesh, he says, Lama yesh chomesh unois, keneged chamisho chumshi teref. Reyo is ruchni. You have inside ruach. It's very important. So the Reyo is keneged chamisho chum shetere. Veinunise de varde ze chelkoi shel Esov. Kacha omer HaZohar HaKodesh. Veinunise de varde is not good. And at the beginning, probably the behemoths didn't have it. Ze pashtus asukye. The behemoths didn't have it, and only on the days of Rav Ashi they suddenly discovered another lobe that came up, and that was a Sofek Godol Bebeis Medrash. Maybe that's Yaseres, and then they said, oh no, all the wild goats, they have it, so it tells us that it's something normal. It's also a domesticated goat. If they have it also, it's also okay. Okay, but the Inunisa de Varde is Chelek Hara. That's what the Zohar says. And the Shoichtim, they call the Inunisa de Varde, soon we'll show the Inunisa de Varde, they call it Ganev. Why is it a Ganev? Because it's hiding in the pocket. Like a Ganev that is running away and hiding somewhere. So they call it the Ganev. But, and in Sifrei Chasidus they say, why is it called Ganev? משום שהוא שייך לאדוים ולאיסוף, שזה כתוב שם לגבי איסוף, עם גנובים בואו לוך, עם שוידדי לילו, זה פסוק שעובדיה לגבי איסוף, אז זה שייך לאיסוף. אבל האונויס זה קדושה גדולה, and also בזוהר הקודש in another place, he says that the אונויס הם כנגד כנפי אוריו, זה כנגד כנפי הקרובים, שסויככים על האורוין. הלב, the heart is the אורוין הבריס, that you have שני לוחויס, because you have two rooms in the heart, so also you have שני הלוחויס, והקרובים סויככים בכנפיהם, that's the ריו. So also, Beigois Rambam, he wrote Igeres to his son, Rabbeinu Avrom ben Rambam. He writes that thing, that idea. It doesn't say B'Shem HaZoyar, he wasn't supposed to know the Zoyar. He brings it from Ibn Ezra. Ibn Ezra probably saw the Zoyar. There are proofs for that. So Ibn Ezra brings that moshel. He has the whole moshel of all the איבורים כנגד כלי המשכון. כל אחד, הכובד זה כנגד המזבח, הראש, עיניים כנגד המנוירו, זאת. אוקיי. So now, לפי זה, הרשב"א, he says, מה טעם התרפוס של יסרס? רש"י, the beginning of the פרק, he says יסרס is משום נקב. Why? Because כל יוסר כנוטול דמי. So it's like נוטול, אין לך נקב גודל מזה, נוטול לגמרי, that's a נקב. So according to Rashi, the טעם היסרס משום נקב. אבל according to הרשב"א, בסוירס הבייס, he says שאין הוריו יכול לו להוניף על הלב. That's the Loshen Rashbo. Pri Megadim brings nafkeminas between Rashi and Rashbo. There's some yateres that we can say that it's not mishum nekev, or it still has koyach leoni fororeo. We have like nafkeminas that the Pri Megadim brings. But that's the time of Yaseres. From there, from that Rashba, we learn what is the work of the Reyo. Rashba said, Lehoni al ha-lev. They were like two, how do you call it, in English, ascola, what do you say? Specs?
What's the word?
Ascola. Ascola means like type of learning of the
methods.
School, like schools. We have two schools of the Chochmas of Refuah. There used to be the Refuah of Chachmei HaYivonim. That's Aristo and Galinos, Hippocrates, all those the ancient Greeks. They looked at all the body that they are arba leichois, arba morois, four juices. Okay, there's levono, adumo, yeruko, ushchoyo. Okay, and everything has to do with those four liquids, four juices. When you have too much black, so the person is sad, and then he has such and such sicknesses, or if he's too happy, so it's white, or red is kaas, v'chule, v'chule. And that in the Kabbalah they go in Azoya, it goes, all the things also go that way. That you have arbo yesoidois and everything. So and they also say the words of the Rashba. Rashba didn't make it up. He took it from Chachmei HaYivonim. שהריו מניפו על הלב. Okay, but today we have a whole new policy of the doctors. Nobody believes in those הרבה כויכויס. לשבחוי של הדוקטור שלי, רמות, he passed away already, but he wasn't so religious, but he said, look, we can't attack something that we don't understand. So it's a different policy, and in those days they were able to be merape people and to find everything according to that policy. It was true. It was true in those days. We can't say that was a lie or they didn't know. Okay? So I take that and I want to explain what is kanfei oreo menifim alale. According to the Greek medication, they call it that the lev, the heart, is from the red organs, and it's too warm. It's warm all the time. So like we have in the car, we have a fan that has to cool down the engine. So also that's the reo. It blows air on the heart, and like the reo is not necessary so much. It's only for cooling the lev. So that is we have a Goyse Kasha on that. Teisves says, I mentioned that Teisves already, all the treifes must be something, the atzmius of that aver. I can't say that this is treife because it won't make hashpoe on another aver, so it's not called treife. It's mishum shegoyrem be'ever acher. All the treifes have to be atzmi. The treifus alev has to be mishum alev. But if you say that tarfus oreo shelo megin al alev, so you have to count it belev. It doesn't have to do with the reo. So the reo is not something so necessary. So we have two answers for that. The first thing is also a Rashba is moide that we have tarfus as nikvo oreo. We have nikvo oreo, but we have for the yaseres oreo, it's a special ta'am that lehonif al alev. Also, there's a mahalech. A lot of, I think that most of the things that we don't understand in Chazal, not only we, all the people that have questions or they don't believe, don't understand, it's because of the Loshen. Chazal, they're speaking in a special Loshen that it means something that we don't understand because we're not in the days of Chazal. If we were in the days of Chazal, we would understand it. So I want to be mefaresh. Today, what do they say according to the science? What is the work of the Reo? They say the body breathes the air. In the air, we don't need all the materials that are in the air. We need only the oxygen. All the other gases, the body has to take them out. So all the breathing is that way. The air comes in, and then the oxygen comes off, and the other things, CO2 and everything, goes back out, and the body uses the oxygen. Why? What? We'll show it soon in the Reo. The oxygen goes into the blood. From the Reo, it goes to the heart. That is the pshat. Reo nivreo lehonif al alev. The mazel lehonif, to bring air. What is air? Air is oxygen. So hareo nivreo lehonif, to blow oxygen on the heart, so the heart will be able to send it to the whole body. זה פשט המילים, אולי, לעניות דעתי. וזה כוונת הרשב"א. If I have a yaseres, to have another lobe, and that will be too much oxygen. It's also not good. Everything in the body has to be in the amount. Or if I have chasero uno, so then I'll have less oxygen pressure won't be enough, and also the blood won't have enough oxygen, And then the behemoth can faint. He doesn't have enough oxygen, and also he can get a chas v'sholem, like a stroke or something. So that's Pirush Lehoni Falalev. And I in that Mahalech, I found another chizuk for that. It says in Zohar HaKodesh, Libe is bei trei chalele. In the heart we have two cavities. Bechad is dome, ubechad is ruche. We'll open the heart soon, we'll see. In one cavity we have blood. In the second we have wind, air. We open the heart, we see blood in both rooms. Both rooms have blood. So what does Zohar HaKodesh mean? And Yisdaiti is the same Mahalech. Ruche means oxygen. He says one room has blood, that means the used blood that comes back from the body without oxygen. And the second room is the new blood that comes back from the lung, and that's ruche. What is ruche? Oxygen. וזה דברי הזוהר הקודש, and הזוהר הקודש was almost around 500, 600 years before the science discovered that we have the oxygen coming from one room, and mamish divrei nevuah. Okay, so now we have that akdomet to understand, and we'll see everything, the whole Mahalech, all the haloches of the Reo are built on that. Or Lehoni for the Reo, or Nikvo Reo. What's the problem by Nikvo Reo? If we have Nikavat Choil, for example, the spleen, so everybody understands that it's not good. Blood comes out into the body. Okay? That's like blood, how do you call it? Shetif dam. It's dangerous. And it never will close because everything is inside. There's no air there, so it will finish his blood. If we have nikvu adakim, that every child understands that it's dangerous. In the dakim we have tsoyo, we have peresh, that's dirt, germs, it kills. So if you have a hole in the dakim, it goes out into the body, it will kill the body. But if I have nekev boreo, okay, where air will come out, but I care. It doesn't bother anybody. But the Metzias is it bothers very much. Why? First of all, if the air goes out from there, so then we don't have pressure in order to activate all the oxygen system, and then the brain won't get the oxygen. The minute the brain doesn't have oxygen, so the whole business is closed. Okay, so now we have to understand each tarfus of Reo, to what does it belong, and we have nafkeminis by that, by understanding what is the problem. Simen Lamed Hey is speaking about a whole Reo. We don't mention the Inyan of Nikvo Reo. Nikvo Reo is Simen Lamed Vo. And that is the Chidush, that even if we have one part missing, or Yoser, so it's treifel like we have a whole, Lefi Rashi, or Sheinu Yechol Lehoni. Okay? So now, Omar Rovet. Cham She'une is Loreo. And it's very strange that nobody mentions the Umois. Zohar HaKodesh speaks about 5 Unois. And some other places, he speaks about Umois. But when we speak about the number, he speaks about 5. Okay? And that's the Gemara also. But the Zohar, Tosfos says, the big Tosfos that you didn't reach yet, Tosfos says that Umois Chidshu HaAchroinim. The Achroinim, they call the name of Umois. But we find that name already in Zohar HaKodesh. He brings about Trei umois also. But why doesn't the Gemara doesn't bring that? So Tosfos says that there's a deyo that umois lo bichlal. Not even by the Yoseres, and also the umois are not in the klal of sirches. When you have sirches sheloi kesidron, so umois is not in the cheshbon. But Roiva Poiskin, they say that also umois are a part of the reyo. It's very interesting to see the Sefer Toiras Yechusiel, Reb Refuel Mehamburg. He says that he brings Rambam. Rambam says, Chosro ikar oreyo harezo treife. And everybody understands that it's a chidush of a Rambam, that Rambam holds that chisorin mi bachutz shmei chisorin. That means that even if I have all the krumim, the membranes of the reyo, they're covering everything, but I have like a valley inside, and something is missing in the reyo, everybody understands that Harambam is matrif. And Tosfos is choylek al Rambam. Tosfos say that im yesh krum al chisoren kederech kol reyo, זה לא מטריף. Would I care if I have a hole like that's not a hole. It's like it goes down. Something is missing there. Okay, it's missing. It's not a whole uno. If we have a whole una is missing, some Rishonim say v'chen roiv uno. Okay, but if it's not rubo, not kulon, so it's okay. But Tosfos say them dochim, but they don't say שזה הרמב"ם. They just said יש מי שרוצו לאסור שחוסר אוריו אף על פי שהקרום עליה שולם זה טרייפה. But when we see so they were like tamea and הרמב"ם מאיפה לקחת את זה? Because in the Gemara says that חיסורון is, it says in the Mishnah, אוריו שnikvo או שחוסרו. So the Gemara wanted to bring a raya שחיסורון בריו is טרייפה. The Gemara is doiche. The Gemara says לא נצריכה אלא לרב שמעון. Rab Shimon, he says that the nekev in the reyo, if it's only by the krumim, it's kosher. When is a nekev treife in the reyo? Only if it reaches beisas impoinos, the pipe of the bronchs. Okay? That's inside the reyo. If the hole doesn't reach there, the Rab Shimon kosher. So the Gemara says, Chisoron is chidush לרב שמעון. שרב שמעון, אף על פי שהוא אומר עד שתינוקב לבייס הסימפוין, זה רק לגבי נקב. אבל לגבי חיסורון, רב שמעון מוידע שאפילו לא הגיע לבייס הסימפוין. So that's the maskone of the Gemara. So from where did the Rambam take that aloche to say that chisoron is awesome? So Toras Yechusiel, he says, we have two parts of the reyo. What is the ikar reyo? The umo. The umo is melshon ima, mother. So Harambam says, hareyo shechosar migufo reyo, chisoron afilu chisoron, harezo treife. Harambam added a word, guf. Guf oreo. So Toras Yechusiel says that guf oreo is the umois. That's the guf. And the unois on top, that are the ears. It's not the guf oreo. It's an addition. It's an addition for the guf oreo. So that's a way to look at the reo. We have ikar reo, guf oreo, and those ears, the lobes that come out, זה לא עיקר הריח. That's a תופל של הריח. Now, also, he wants to explain the Loshen Rove. Rove says, Cham she'unei is lo reo. Why does the Gemara say lamed, lo reo? It's supposed to say base. Cham she'unei is bo reo. I have the lung, and in the lung I have 5 lobes. No, he says lo reo. Reo is the umois. That's horeo. Cham she'unei, the reo, the umois, they have 5 lobes. So that's the reason the Gemara doesn't mention anything about umois, because that's reo. Reo is umois. Ikar reo, gufo reo, that's umois. And that's what he says. The reo has 5 additions. Okay? So that's the way it's very interesting. The Torah Sikusil. I think also Oruch HaShulchan. Oruch HaShulchan also says the same thing. He doesn't bring it b'shem Torah Sikusil, but Imamish says the same thing. That Reo is the Umois, and the Unois are additions. Okay. So now we will start with your Reo. I have here another Reo. This is a good Reo. I think it was glatt. We have the Kone. Oh, stand here.
Let's go. Move it over.
No, but I'm moving all the time. We have the pipe. This is of a sheep. Yes. We have the pipe, the trachea, windpipe, Kone, or Gargeres. In Simen Lamed Daled, so we see chiluk between Gargeres and Kone. Usually we think that it's the same thing, but Taramo brings that Gargeres is the cartilage, the schus that is outside, and the krum that is inside, that's the Kone. Kone means pipe. Gargeres means gargirim, like pieces. So the gargeres has a shape of rings. So these rings are the gargeres, and the internal membrane, krum apnimi, that is koni. That's the chiluk that we have. So it goes inside. When it reaches the entrance to the Reo, it splits. We have like branches that go into each uno. Each uno has the main branch that is called Simpoine Rabbe. Here we see this is the Reo. This is the right side. For me it's the right because I'm holding it. It says Apo Klape Gavro, but I'm holding Gabo Klape Gavro. Okay. So now, this is the Uno Elyoino Shel Yamin, or it's called by the Shoichtim Uno Amispatzeles. Why is it called Uno Amispatzeles? Because the windpipe goes up here, and the body becomes narrow. The ribs, each rib, when you go up, it's smaller and smaller and smaller. I mean, the space. And up here, the ribs are like very small, like this. So the unois of the top of the reo are squeezed inside the ribs. And the Gemara calls it meitzar achose, or mokoim revise. Revise means revitze. Revitze means sitting. Okay? So these places, the 2 unois on the top, they are inside a place that is like crowded. And that reason, especially this one, the right one, it's so kvetched, it goes around the kone, and sometimes, because of that pressure, it starts to divide into more and more and more lobes, like it has a yaseres, another yaseres. And we learned that yaseres migabo, if you have yaseres on the back, we have two sides of the reo. This side is called mikamo. Mikamo means the direction of the floor or the front. And gabo is the other side. That's the direction of the back. And you can even see, we have here the shape of the umois and unois. It's called arugois oreo. Arugo is those path that you do in the garden. You make like a hill, and you put the seeds on the hill, and then when you water, the water goes in like
Irrigation ditch.
yeah, like a canals that go between the hills. The hills are called arugois. So here we have those two hills. Why do we have that shape of a hill? Because the ribs, when they come from the spinal cord, they go like this and then they go down. So the reo fills that space and gets that shape of the ribs. And that's the arugo. But there's a difference between the top of the arugo and the bottom of the arugo. The top of the arugo has a sharp edge. You can see it's sharp here on the top. So therefore, it's called mokoim chidud. It's mechudot. But the bottom, where the umo is, so the arugo has a round shape. It's not sharp. It's not a spitz. Therefore, here we say it's not mokoim chidud. The nafkamina of mokoim chidud has to do in the simonim of buo. Buo is like a bubble, a hard bubble. In the reo, this second reo that is in here is full of buoys. We'll show you soon. Even though it's not, doesn't belong to simen lamed hey, but if already we have, we'll show it. Okay, so this is the uno ha'elyono shel yamin, shenikres uno ha'mispatzeres. Shechtim today sometimes call it regel chamoy. I don't know why. Looks like a foot of a donkey. Okay? So that's how they call it. Now, between, this is on the right
Why
side.
aren't the bitulim a problem? Why aren't the bitulim, the extra bitulim, a problem that there's
What, of the mitpatzeret?
Yeah, why is it not a...
So we started to speak, I didn't finish. So the reason is, so the Gemara says, שהיסרס שיש על האונו המתפצלת היינו רביסה. That's the way, the natural way that this lobe, because it's quetched inside, so it wants to grow. It has no space where to grow, so it becomes wild. One part grows. They try to find any space that is empty, and they grow there. Okay, so that makes a lot of yaseres, here we have, it's like a new lobe coming out. Why don't we say that is a yaseres? Because it's revise. That's the way that it happens in this uno. But the Poiskim bring, Mechaber brings, שהיינו דווקא מחציו ולחוץ. It's natural that will happen only from the half outside. There they have the pressure that makes it to split. But there's a machloikes, what is mechetzio velachutz? If I look at the uno, I can divide it into two. I take the oirech and divide it into two. So the oirech that is from the half outside, chetzi orko, maybe that's the mechetzio velachut. Or maybe we're speaking about chetzi rochbo, that I divide the uno to the roichav, and chetzi velachut is outside here. So because it's machloikes, the poskim say we can be machshir yaseres only in a quarter of the uno. That means chetzi velachut leoirech ve chetzi velachut leroichav. So that gives me only a quarter.
Which part is that? Which part of the ray is that?
The part is like here, here and here. This half is the chetzio velifnim.
Right.
This half is chetzio velifnim, and the chetzio velachutz is the part that is actually touching the kohen, and that's the reason that forces it to split.
Why is that? Lachutz, in between both rays.
You have to see how it's standing in the body, because in the body it doesn't stand like this. It's like wrapping. You have to see what side is touching the gargeres. Okay, so that is one uno. Now we have on the right side we have three unos. So we have the bottom one. Uno mispatzeles is the top, and this is the bottom one. And we can see each uno has a private sim point, a pipe that brings in the air from the main pipe. So this is a uno, this is a uno, and in the middle we have a small uno. That small uno is called uno ho emtsois.
No, that's good.
Uno emtsois. Now by this, in the sheeps, we have a problem. Because the Gemara says that we have a shiur for the kashrus of uno. It must be more than tarfe de'ase. Tarfe de'ase is a leaf of hadas. But because we have, also today, we have two types of hadasim. We have hadas tzfasi that has very, very tiny leaves, okay? Thick stick and tiny leaves. And we have, they call it hadas chovoti, or the agriculture, they call it hadas temani. Like the temanim have a big esoig, they also have a big hadas. That type of hadasim, they say that it's not original in Eretz Yisrael. Originally, they had the small hadasim. And now we have the very big, like we have hadasei nol, and all those types of hadasim that have big leaves. So, what is tarfa de'aseh? That one, it's a big difference between them. So, Mari Weil says, because we're not bekim, yesh kama vechama suge hadasim, so we have to measure by the finger. But also by the finger we have 2 days. One deo is the perek or emtsoi shel etzba agudol. So etzba agudol has 3 porkim. One perek, we don't see it. It's like the fat inside here. That's one perek. And one perek is the edge. And the middle one, that's perek ha'emtsoi. So it's a little bit big. But the Deo Shnio, Mari Weil brings, kegoidel tzipoiren agudol. And if we measure, it's actually, that is the 2 types of hadasim that we have. The tzfasi is exactly tzipoiren of agudol. And the rechovoti is exactly the perek emtsoi shel agudol. There's a shayle, because Baal Haloches Gdoilo Iskim Dumani, he says that if we have a leaf of hadas bigger, because we saw in the halacha that tarfe de'aseh is like perek emtsoi, if I have a big leaf, so that's Baal Haloches Gdoilo says it's hadas shoite, posul. Okay, so some are machmir. And that Poskim say today that we're not לא נהגו את הפהג הזה. But you see that that's the goydel of uno. So the Poskim say we have to do lechumre because we have two directions of measuring. If we're dealing with yaseres, so then if I give you the small amount, that's the chumre. Like if I say ketzipoiren, so that's a chumre. That if it's already ketzipoiren, it's a apostle, it's a yaseres. But if we're speaking about chaseiro, so then the chumre is as big as we can do it. So the perek emtzoi is the way to measure chaseiro. Chaseiro, we have to be machmir that if it's choser and it became smaller than perek emtzoi shel agudo. And the gabe yaseres, if we have an addition that is bigger than tzipoiren shel agudo, so then it's treifin. Okay, that's the way.
Is when it's blown up.
Oh, that must be the loshen haroish. Haroish says, "Kol milei dereyo mesharinen bereyo nefucho kemoi shei bechayeo," and that's it's like also bechayeo. She's not nefucho. Every second it's different. Rega nefucho, rega lo nefucho. So who told you to go according to nefucho? But what we learn from the Rashba, that the tachlis of reyo is lenashev al alev. So the main, the chiyus of the reyo is when it's full of air, and then it can blow on the lev. But if it's empty, so there's no chiyus in the reyo. So we have to go according shehi b'chiyuso b'chiyunius shelo b'chaye abeimed. That means when it's blown.
So the maximum blowing?
Oh, that's a shaila. B'chayeo usually nobody blows the lung adasoy, especially when she's running or doing things. So she's breathing fast, so she never feels it. So the halacha says that when you blow the reyo, you should blow it average. But Ramo brings Maise in the Darkei Moshe that there's a shaila. If I have something, reyo say begabo, lemashal. If I have yaseres migabo is treife. What we'll do if it's standing al gabo, and then I blow the reyo, and it moves and goes to mikame. So if we say hakol olech lefi nefucho, so it's kosher. But what happened in that ma'aseh was that boydek Reuven, he was the boydek. He blowed the reyo, and it stayed outside. It was migabo, so it was posel. He wanted to passel the reyo. So Shimon came and he said, "Oh, Reuben doesn't know how to blow reyes. Give me." He blowed it so much that the yaseres moved and came into mikamo. And the loshen of the poiskim there is Shimon bechocham hu haya boki vechocham yoizer mereuven. He knows how to blow reyo. So mashma sham that I'm allowed to blow it more than the regular. Why? Because if it can reach that level any time of the life, let's say the behemoth will stand once, and she'll be relaxed, she'll breathe in a lot, so she'll reach that. She can do that if she wants. She doesn't do it, but she can do it. She has the ability to do it. So if the reyo is standing the way that you have once the ability to do it, so it's kosher also. And he says, the Ramo brings, he says, שהוא hoyo chorif uboki yoiser me'arishoin v'hu itzil et hareyo. Yeah.
Shouldn't be telling the doifen.
Yeah, no. The doifen is just blocking. It doesn't say that there's no ability. There's ability to blow it more. The ribs the ribs are bothering. B'chayeo, if the ribs will move or something will happen to the wall, okay, so she can breathe more. The ribs are like a gvul, but it's chitzoni. It's not in the reyo. The reyo itself can blow more.
This size is for sheep or for all animals?
Any. Oh, it's interesting because in a lot of shiurim of treifes, so the poskim say this is bebeimo peinonis, v'akoton lefi kotnoi v'agodol lefi godol. Here they say a musim. Uno is tarfedeas. That's it. Any uno. So sometimes it's a problem because let's say you have
A cow was a lot bigger than a sheep.
Yeah, this one. Here we have the uno emtsois. No, this is a goat. By the goat, yes. Yeah. This is uno emtsois. If when I blow it, okay. Oh. Here now it's for sure tarfedas. You see, it's perek emtsoi. This is the middle one. It's big. It's big. It loses a little bit air, but it was bigger before.
זה טריפה של רואים, שזה קטן.
Yeah. Oh.
You're losing air.
Okay. Pass it around.
Make a pony. You go
No.
Can you blow this one up?
Yankee.
Here, it's not very small. Okay, so here you have the mitzois. Also, if I'll blow, but here I don't know if the blowing won't work because it's cut. Yeah. If I had a straw, maybe with a straw I can blow it. Do you have a straw?
I'll get one.
Two straws. Yes.
So this is the Una Mitzvah, passing around, anyone wants to touch, see.
Yes, it looks like a button. When I blow, you see. Also here, if somebody is worried that we don't see that it's a separated uno by itself, so we have a machlokes Rashi v'Teisves. Oh,
Air conditioner.
it's not, it's gas.
Corner AC.
Sam's. I'm so bad by Sam's.
You have to talk while you're blowing. Marcus, help him out.
So you see, here you have like a crack between the two unos. So Rashi says, yes, even though you have a grum, but you have a crack. Yes. So now the Gemara brings, yes, exactly. The Gemara brings Hai Reyo de Damye Leufse. If I have a Reyo that looks like one block, has no lobes, so it's treifes, but the Rashi says, if I can see, I see the place where the lobe was supposed to be, and I see like a crack between the border of the two lobes, so that's okay. But Rashi says, because the shiur of Yaseres is tarfe de ase, so that crack must be tarfe de ase. Rashi is the chumre. And a mechaber is machmir like Rashi. Therefore, uno like this will be a problem. But Aramo, he goes according to Tosfos. Tosfos says that the crack doesn't have to be Tarfa de Aseh. If there's a crack that I can see it well, and it's not like the regular cracks that you have in the Reo. You see, Mamish, like it's dividing two places, so that is okay, that's enough. The Poskim also brings, if I see a separate sim point, I see that this Uno has its own sim point, that's also called Heker. It's Heker, that tells me that it's a separate Uno, it's not, doesn't belong to the Uno that is next to it, okay?
There's shear, and there's based on volume. So let's have a very narrow and long. So there's narrow areas.
Maybe, I think Poskim speak about that. If I can do tzirufim, yes. Yeah. Okay. Now, so we introduced you three unos. Elyoino, Emtsois, V'tachtoino, Shel Yamin. Now we'll go to the small. The small, we have, this is the uno Elyoino Shel Small. This is uno Tachtoino Shel Small. The Poskim call it Meshucho Kachetz. It looks like the head of an arrow. Okay? Meshucho Kachetz. And this one, of the right side, the Poskim call it Aruko Ve'ovo, because it's long and thick. Aruko Ve'ovo. So also at the left, we have two. There's an interesting thing in that Tosfos that was speaking about the Mispatzeles. We see that the right lobe goes high up. It looks like that is the higher lobe of the Reo. But in Hilchos Shchite, we learn what are the borders of the Mokoim HaKosher LeShchite. Mokoim she'uno elyoino magas bakone. Where the uno elyoino reaches the kone, from there it's already considered chose. It's not considered kone. That means it's posul l'shchite, and also the tarfus is not psukas agargeres, it's nekuvas agargeres. That is the tarfus there. But the poskim say, Hainu shel tzad smoil. And that's very strange to understand, because the tzad smoil reaches till here. That means mokem kosher l'shchite ad po. And the right side goes up. It gives me like 10 rings more in the corner.
It doesn't go straight, it's not the way it's...
That's the answer. Okay, so a lot of people didn't, and when in the shiurim, when they see the Reo, they ask, why do you say that the Elyoino, Shi Elyoino, Atachtoino, Shi Elyoino, that's the left side. The left side is much lower than the right side. You have to do the right side, and that's the chumre that you can shecht only till here, not down than that. But I found anatomy book from France. What did they do there? They wanted to know how do the organs look in the behemah when the behemah is alive. Till then, nobody can tell what's going inside, only by X-ray or things like that. But you don't know exactly what's going on there. So what did they do? They took a cow, a live cow, and they put it in a freezer, a big room, freezing. They did like 4 or 5 cows like that, and that froze the cow chai, when it's chai. And all the ivorim are exactly like mechai. And then they brought a big saw, I'd say, masor, and they made slices. They sliced the cow into slices, and they show each slice. You can see exactly how it looks. And then I looked at the unois, I see something very interesting. I see that the small goes higher than the yamin. Why? And they explain there. They say, even though the yamin is bigger, but because it's so fat and thick, and here is narrow, it doesn't have space to continue up. So that's the reason it wraps the kone, because the narrow space is blocking it and doesn't let it go up. But the left one, that is sharp and thin, so nobody bothers it to go straight up. It mamish reaches the throat already. Reaches there, we have two bones of the throat, reaches there, nothing stops it. And that is the inyan that Davka Smolis, Hi Elyoino, Shi Tachtoino, Shi Elyoino, Bechaya Beime, only Bechaya Beime, it's higher than the Mispatzeles, and the Hilchos Shchite, we go according to Abeima Kamoshi Bechayeo, not Kamoshi Achal Shchite. And that's the Nekuda. Okay, now we have two Umois. The Umois are the two big sections, Umo Shel Smoil, Umo Shel Yamin, and now in the middle, here we have the Einunise de Varde. Einunise de Varde was, at the beginning, it was, they call it in English, enigma. Yes, it was, nobody knew it. It was like something new. According to Taste it wasn't new. All the behemoths had it, but they found a behemoth that has two. I once saw a picture of a buffalo, the buffalo, not bison, the Israeli, water buffalo.
Water buffalo.
One that's not Kasabakhan. One that's Kasabakhan.
Yeah, so it has, they have two Einunise. Okay, so this Einunise de Varde is hiding in a pocket. Here they tore it already, but it has on top of it, we have, here we have it. Here, this is the pocket. The Einunise de Varde is hiding in the pocket.
Just a crumb that comes off the...
Yes. No, it's not krum that comes off. It's like we have a pipe, a vein that comes from the liver to the heart. It's called vena cava. That means the vein that is big and empty. It brings back the blood from the liver to the heart. So that vein, it goes like this, and it has like a membrane that goes on top of it.
You said the has SIM point also going into it?
Yes. It has its own SIM point. It has the SIM point coming in here. You can see it.
Okay,
Actually, it's matched with a different color used by my sets, as
I saw the Rogachover, he says that Rashi said al Shem Shi Adumo, so Rogachover says he Adumo Yoiser Mishar Uno. We don't see that in ours. I understand the news that I understand the Rashi, that Rashi says he nigres Varda al Shem Perak Vered, Mishum Shidako, it's not thick like other unois. Hidako ve'adumo. It's not that they are not. It's just Rashi is explaining us why do they call it Varda as a rose. Why does it look like a rose? Because it's dako ve'adumo. Other unois are ovo ve'adumo. So adumo is not enough in order to call it varde, because a varde is a dako. But it's not that it's more odoim than the others. You can see it's the same. Maybe b'chayeya abeim that we don't see it now. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, this is all that has to do with this is a healthy, glatt reo. Here we have a reo of a behemoth that was sick. You can see the color.
The same behemoth, the same time. The same.
Oh,
the both
each
sheep.
behemoth has one.
You saying the both sheep?
No, this is a goat.
That's a sheep.
No, this is a sheep. This is a sheep also, yes. Yours is a goat, yes. This is a sheep. Here, what was the problem? For example, here we have a Nunisa de Varde. In the Nunisa de Varde, we have a buo. What is a buo? Buo is like a bubble. The bubble is full with water. We have to see what type of water.
Can you pop it?
Yes. I have it. Yes.
It's blood or what's...
No. We have each buo can have inside something else.
Everything's a video. Everyone can watch afterwards.
Okay. We have a lot of buos here. Here we have also on the umo. Because it's not so healthy, I'm afraid to touch it with my finger, but here.
Oh, pus.
Pus. See?
What's that, cancer?
No. This is usually what the doctors say. It's like, I don't know if it's an insect or a germ, or something between that, that is a parasite. It's like things that come into the reo and they eat the bosor of the reo, so they like start to eat and then they build themselves like a house. The buo is the house of that. Is it true? It's not like that. If there's only one buo. Buo yechidis sheiro. Why? Because he doesn't do any neked. He comes out and he comes between the kum areo and the basar areo. He doesn't do neked. אבל אם יש לנו שתי בויס, סמוכויס זוי לזוי, and there's no difference between them of chuta sayro, זה kimloi lechachomim. Also we have machlokes Rashi והרשב"א. מה הטעם ששתי בויס דסמיכי הדודי רבי? Rashi says kimloi lechachomim שאם שתיים סמוכו זו לזוי, לא יעולו אלא מחמס נקב.
So if you blow it, it's going to be a hole?
If you
blow it to the
no, because it's closing. It came מחמס נקב. It's now closing the נקב. So, אבל הרשב"א, he says, שכיוון שהם מחק חויס, זוי זוי, הסידויס לאינוקב. It's not now that we have a nekeb, but because they're one close to the other.
They're rubbing each other.
They're rubbing each other, and then the end they will open. So now we have nafkeminis. If let's say the root is far, and the buo is come and become close, but the root of the buo is far, according to Rashi, it's okay. Lo yolu machmas neked. According to Rashbo, they're touching each other, or le'efech. If it's close, the olu machmas neked. But eno mechak choiso. Okay, so we have enough communities between them. That is the Indian of buoys. Another buo that is treife, even if it's one, it's buo b'shipule. Buo b'shipule means on the edge. If the buo is standing on the edge, like this buo here, see, here's a buo, but it's not mamish. Shipule means the edge. So that is בור בשיפולי, לפי הלוכויס גדולויס, is treifet. No, it's not, because it's already inside. The shipule is empty, it doesn't.
Mamish the edge.
But that's the mechaber. The mechaber says that shipule is the edges. But Aramo, he brings the Marivail and other Rishonim, that shipule is any sharp spot. כל מקום שהוא חד, אם יש עליו בור, היא לא מסקיימס. יסידו להינוקם. Here we see on the edge, we have a lot of places that are sharp. If we'll have the bua standing on the sharp place, for example here, but you have to measure it when you blow the reo, and then see.
Can you try?
But let's say I can't blow it.
The focus, you go for it.
I don't want to breathe the air that will come out. But
Already cut it.
here we can see. This is the bua here. Here, we see inside,
Could I pick up the
it's
inside?
hard already.
Could I pick
All
up
the
inside?
pus,
Could I turn it a little? Shkach.
the pus got dry. In such a case, the Gemara says that is not bua. That is called already tinra. Tinre or kande. Tinra means stone. Stone. It says nitzov al roish atzur. The Targum Onkelos says tinro. So tinro means stone. That means that all the liquid dried, and now it's hard like a stone. So that is kosher. Why? It's like a scar or a pizza. If it's liquid, so it's sick. If it's dry, so it recovered already. So that tells us that there was no naked. Because if there was a naked, so it wouldn't.
This is not a sircha where you're
It's not a sikha. Bur. It's a different.
What made this one a
different
trefa?
What?
What made this one a trefa? The boos are close together?
Because here we have too many boys, and they are.
focus blow into it.
No.
Here you see. Oh, according to Mechaber, the Mechaber holds that even one bull, if the liquid inside is achurim usruchim, it's pus, so it's treifet. Lefi Mechaber. Lefi Ramo says if it's only one bull, I don't care what's inside, because Rashi said kaimalan de davka shtayim. But if I have one full of pus or masriach or ochul, it doesn't bother me because it's only one. Okay? So that's Ramo. Ramo is making this map. Okay, now what we can see here we see this is the Shuman Alev, Kis Alev, the pocket of the heart. The heart is inside here. Here is the heart.
That's chil, that's a deraisa.
No. This is Shuman. All the chalovim that are from the diaphragm towards the top of the behemoth, they are kosher. From the diaphragm down, that is chalovim. And even though we have here chelev, this is chelev kosher. And we have a klal. The Gemara says, Daf Mem Tes, Kol chelev tome eino soise mesaneke. Chelev toher soise mesaneke. Why? Because the chalovim atmeim, one of the simonim of chelev tome is toisav. Toisav means that it's not attached to the body or to the organ. It is sitting like a blanket. Toisav. It's on top like a blanket. So all the chalovim atmeim, because they are toisav, they're like a blanket. So if there's a hole in the ever, and the chelev is covering the hole, so it doesn't heal because it's toisav, it's loose. But if it's chelev toil, so it's attached to the body. And if there's a nekev, the chelev toil, it can be soisem the nekev. The Gemara says, but shumen alev, even though it is chelev toil, but it won't be soisem if I have a nekev in the heart. It won't be soisem the nekev. Why? Because even though it's toil, but it's loose. It's like a blanket covering. It's a pocket. So because it's like that, so it's not soisem. Here underneath we have shumen alev atzmo, not the kis alev, not tarfa shalev. By that we have machlokes HaMechaber ve'Aramo. HaMechaber says that this already can be soisem because it's not also kis. But Aramo says it's not soisem. Why? Because it's kosher. It's hard. Anything that is hard, it can't heal. Only if it's soft, then it can go into the hole and fill it, and won't let the blood come out. Okay, we must finish now. We'll just open the heart to see the chadorim. We mentioned before that the heart has 2 rooms. Rambam says 2. Rashi says harbe. Rashba says 3. But it's all depended the way you count it. That you'll see already when you reach Siman Mem. But you can see 2 main rooms. Here is 1 and 2. This is the same one, and this is the second one. One is Yamin, one is small, and that's the Lev. Zed, ice. Yeah. It was frozen. We still have ice blood. Okay, say there.
This is Pshat B'Zayah. This is Pshat B'Zayah. That's Rucha and
Yes, one. But I don't remember one. What? One brings the oxygen, and one takes out and it brings in the used one that comes from the. That's over here. This comes from the liver. It brings the blood without oxygen, and then it pushes it to the reo, and it gets the oxygen in the reo, and goes back. He didn't, even if he had somebody already, I think, peeled. Here we had sirches. See, here we had sirches.
Give some space.
These sirches were to the doifen, to the rib. See, this is a sirche, but it's a big, big sirche. See, from the reo, we have like a string that is attached to the wall. This is a sirche. Okay, 1, 2.